speaker today is the Reverend Tom Leach. Now, Tom was raised in the Roman Catholic tradition and fully expected to become a Roman Catholic priest at some point. Well, today he is a priest, but not Roman Catholic. He's a priest of the order of Melchizedek. And actually, his original intention was partly answered. The reason I say that is that every Roman Catholic priest is also technically a priest of the order of Melchizedek. It's part of the oath that they take. Unfortunately, I don't think most of them have any idea what that really means. So, although the Roman Catholic Church provided good foundational principles, Tom always knew that there just had to be more to the world of spirit than what they were presenting. And as we know, when we hold a question in our heart, we always get an answer. Tom's answer came in early 2008 in the form of a near-death experience that answered many of his questions, created a permanent, strong link with Source, and luckily for all of us, inspired him to share his understandings with others. So please welcome Tom Leach.
Wow. You know, I get goosebumps for a lot of different things, but that one just really sent goosebumps all throughout me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so blessed to be here today, and I'm thinking about our reading this morning. And I hope to expound on a couple of thoughts in those readings, as well as carry on the message that I was given when I died. And I was having a pretty good day when I died. The sun was shining, the skies were blue. I didn't realize that I would end up in an ICU at the end of the day. One of the first things that happened to me is I was greeted on the other side. I was greeted with the words of, "Welcome, beloved one. You are blessed. You are honored." The first part of our reading this morning talks about that. If we had any understanding of how honored we are for being here, doing what we're doing, living the struggles that we live, and the joys. Think about a rock star, a world-famous scientist, a preacher that's known throughout the world. Something or someone that you look up to with such reverence, and that pales in comparison to what they feel for us and how honored we are in their eyes. And if we could carry that with us here every day, how much different would it be? The second part of the reading talks about, and I'm losing my place here, sorry about that, but it talks about fear, and the total lack thereof. I cannot describe in words, although I tried yesterday and I will try again this afternoon. I'll try several other times before my time is up again, to describe what it felt like to be in that presence. To know for the first time in my existence what true unconditional love felt like. What true peace felt like. What lack of fear felt like. I can't describe it. But I will tell you, you will all experience it. We all will experience it, for sure. And coming from a guy who was raised in the Roman Catholic Church, who basically was told he had to pray to a saint, to pray to Jesus, to pray to God, had that separation. And that our journey involved meeting at the pearly gates, and we had two directions to go, and in my particular case, I was fairly certain I was not taking the high road. To find out how much different it is in reality. what it felt like to be there as opposed to what I thought it was going to be like. And then there was that thing called Judgment Day in the Catholic Church. Boy, did I fear that one. But the only judgment that we have is ourselves. When we're shown what we've done in this life. And I'll tell you, I had one experience that even in that side brought me to tears. And it was at that moment that an arm or a wing wrapped around me and whispered in my ear and said, remember, here you were learning. Now, I expected to get yelled at. I actually even thought about a yardstick taking a swipe at me because that's what happened in Catholic school. I did not expect to hear that I was simply learning. When I was done, they decided that I wasn't there to stay. And I got to tell you, I wasn't happy about that. They told me I had to come back to this. But I also learned that you don't argue with angels. And so the last thing I heard them say before I left, they told me to remember to love. Because in my life at that point, I had forgotten every aspect of the word love. I had forgotten to love my fellow man throughout the entire globe. I had forgotten to love my nation. I had forgotten to love my state. I had forgotten to love my community, my family. Most importantly, I had forgotten to love myself. I was functional, had a smile on my face most of the time, but inside it was quite a different story. So what did that mean? Remember to love. In my particular case, it was to remember all aspects of love that have to start within. It's like when you're flying on the airplane, they tell you if there's a cabin decompression, the oxygen mask will come down. You put it on yourself first before you help someone else. Because you're not going to be very much help if you're gasping for air. So what is it that we may not love about ourselves? Is it we've been told that we don't measure up? Maybe we've been told that we're just not the same as everybody else. We're not accepted. Better yet, do we not accept the way we look in the mirror? Those were some of my challenges. I couldn't look into a mirror and see anything worth loving. And so it took what I call the cosmic 2x4. God whacked me upside the head and said, hey, look, would you listen for a moment? I don't have any bad days. I certainly didn't have one when I created you. Why don't you love yourself? Does it matter what you look like? How much hair you have on your head? Because I've been lacking that for quite some time. Does that really matter? Or what matters is what is in your heart. Do you walk down the street and smile at other people? Do you open doors? Do you clean up after yourself and make the world a better place than when you came into it? That was the challenge for me. And once I started learning those lessons, I started learning how much easier it was to learn to love my family members who don't exactly make that easy. Maybe you can relate. Some people have crazy uncles. I've got an crazy side of the entire family. but they're family. And before my experience, you love them because you were told to. They were family. Now I can look at them and say, I love them for who they are. I may not agree with who they are. I may not understand who they are, what they are, how they've become that way. But I love them anyway. And I pray that they learn to love themselves. What about the rest of our communities? This is a wonderful community. I see so many friends here, and it's always a joy to see you here and outside. Francis, I love you so much. And I never would have met Francis had I not changed my course. Because that changing of course brought me here to Virginia Beach from my beautiful hometown about 23 miles northeast of Baltimore. I know if I didn't leave that area that I would not be alive today, because I would never have learned these lessons. And I would have gotten deeper and deeper into humanness, so far that I may never have escaped. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the love that you all have and share with each other and have shared with me. I'm grateful for the love of my fiancée, Laura. Next Friday, we'll be together on and off, mainly off, for 33 years. The very last voice I heard on the way back was her voice, telling me that I wasn't going anywhere. 3 days after my heart attack, she called. And we hadn't spoken for years. Quinky dinks. I stopped believing in those years ago. And what she wanted was a picture of myself and my family to take down to John of God. Now, how blessed was that? That out of nowhere, so we think, and wanted to take something of myself and put it in front of somebody for some healing, not even knowing what had happened. So my charge to you today is understand that there are no such things as coincidences, that everything is interconnected. We are interconnected. You all are part of my family now, hopefully on the sane side. We have some questionable moments there. Learn that love is not just a word. It's not something they insert into songs and poetry. But it is literally what we are made of, where we come from. And if you remember, we come from unconditional love. Why would we be here if it was easy to understand on this side? Why would we be so honored if it was easy here? So every time life gets challenging, just remember to love yourself, your friends, your family, your community, and your God. Thank you.